Hi everybody, welcome back to another edition of Flex and Reflect Sunday Sit Down. This is a weekly session where I answer all the questions that have come through. Today I'm going to try and get through 5 within around 10 minutes, so let's see how we go. First question is, why do you record so many podcasts? Well, for those of you that follow me will know that I record 2 podcasts every day, one for Rob Evans 365 podcast and one for the Mental Toughness and Body Show. They're available for free wherever you download your podcasts. Just search for them. I think now I've done about 3,200 podcasts across the 2. I started with Rob Evans 365 first of all, and I started with that because it was when I first met my coach. He said, this is JT Fox, and he said to me, you've got to start doing a podcast. And he said, call it Rob Evans 365. Because he said, there's no one in your space that's doing this and doing a podcast every single day. And then it was around the time of COVID, he reached out to me and said, you've got to start this podcast too. It's called the Mental Toughness and Body Show. He named it for me. And I said, right, done. And so then I started recording that one as well. And so what do I do it? Well, most people, if you look at how often they do a podcast, a lot of people do not get beyond 10, 20, 30, never mind 100 podcasts. I think something like 10% of people that start a podcast get to 100 episodes because most people are doing it once a week. So I wanted to do it differently. And if you think about what it is that I do for my career and my business, it's about consistency. And so I don't just like to talk about things because talk and words only go so far. People watch what you do. And that's what I wanted to do. So who do you want to work with? The person that has an incredible work ethic and is consistent every single day with what it is that they do. And is it hard to do one podcast a day? Yeah, well, it's a challenge, isn't it? To do a podcast every single day. Well, I make 2 a day. And I've probably recorded more podcasts than anyone else on the planet. I did like a Google search as to who's done more. I couldn't find anyone that's done more podcasts than me. And I'm focusing on 10,000. Why do I do it? Because it's the consistency and it requires me to think and come up with new content every single day. And I love that 2 topics I need to come up with a day. And now I have people reaching out to me, and I've had some A-list celebrities, I've had some billionaires, I've had some Olympic gold medalists on there, and just a lot of people that have success. So now I have these marketing agencies from Canada, the US, that people that do podcasts employ them to find podcasts that they can go to around the world. And so I get a lot of invitations to those. I don't say yes to all of them, but I do say yes to those that have a degree of success. So that's why I do it. It requires consistency and it forces me to do things that I know are going to help me grow every single day. Next question, where are you at with your own training at this time of the year? So I think this question came from the US somewhere. So it's winter over there, depending on the state that you're in, but and how warm it is, but it's winter. Here we've just gone into autumn, so it's the 10th of March today. So we're just going into autumn. Ironically, we've got the 3 hottest days that we've had this season, all back to back. 38 degrees yesterday, 38 degrees today. I think it's 37 degrees tomorrow before we get a cooler change and it drops down to like 29 or 30 or whatever. So I think it's probably a record that we've had 3 days like this in autumn. And so where I'm at with my own training, I like to work in 12-week training blocks. And if you've been following me over the last couple of years, you'll know that in 2020, I was incredibly focused. Before COVID, we went into COVID, and I thought, right, I'm going to ramp things up and just prove to myself what I can do, even though there's so much uncertainty. I redid it again in 2021. Through this time in 2021, my daughter got quite unwell. And that then required a lot of hospitalization, a lot of time out of my business and so forth in caring for her, which meant I moved more into a maintenance mode. And then obviously with my daughter passing, it's been a real challenge to, I guess, just get into a good rhythm with my own training. So I've really focused on that maintenance phase. The last the last 10 weeks, I've been really, I would say 10, it's around the 10 mark, maybe it's even longer, but I've been really focused on just getting that consistency, and just each session I do, I ramp up the weights just that a little bit more. Now, what's happened for me over this last week has been that when I start to find that I'm getting in the gym and I'm not loving it as much, I'm feeling tired, I don't want to get into the gym, that's a big red flag for me that it's time to take a little bit of time out. So I started it today, actually, being Sunday, which is my favorite workout of the week. I've designed last night a new program for me to do it's designed for the next 4 weeks, just to get me out of the training that I've been doing, which has been really focused on just increasing the weight, to just this next month is just to do some different exercises that I wouldn't normally do. Some of them are exercises that I would do, but rather than do them, say, once a week, I'm moving into, all right, so I'm still training 3 days a week, but I'm going to do certain elements from each of the programs that I did 3 times a week, just to do that for a month, just to shake things up a little bit, because I've been training for 36 years. You need to get some variety. And when I start to find that my focus and my enjoyment is really the big one, goes away from getting into the gym, that's when I know I need to shake things up. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm still focused. I'm still focused on my food, but I know I need to have a little bit more fun with my workouts at the moment. So it's time to just change it up a little bit. So sometimes you just need to do that. Next question, what's the biggest reason you see people fail to achieve their health and fitness goals? Well, it's mindset. That's the biggest thing. It's the mindset, because if you can harness a mindset that says, just like I said with the podcast, you're going to be consistent, you want to make the change, you understand what it is that you want, you understand why that's really important to you, then those two things alone will really fuel you to keep clawing for success, to just keep climbing up that ladder. And I think what most people are perhaps scared to do is to do that work, because it is work. Most people say, well, I just want to feel better, or I want to lose weight, or whatever. But that's only surface level deep. You've got to get really deep into it, because in me working with people, my strength is to help people lose weight and help them develop healthy lifestyles for the rest of their life. They're my strengths. I train the odd athlete here and there. I don't train bodybuilders. If somebody comes to me and says, I want to be a bodybuilder on stage, depending on the level that they're at, I will train them up to a level, and then I'll refer them on to somebody that is, comes from that background. They're normally a competing bodybuilder themselves. They train, bodybuilders and that kind of stuff. And so I would forward them on to someone else. Whether it was a male or a female, I have different people to refer to. Why is that? Because for me, depending on the type of, say, bodybuilding competition or sculpting that you want to go to, you want to go to the best in the business in that space. And so that's why I would say somebody wanted to be the top like fitness model or and most muscular, well, I don't know what all the different categories are now, that I have a 2-time Miss Olympia, that I would refer straight to her. If it was a male bodybuilder, then I'd probably refer to a US contact that I have over there, or I would go back to my old strength and conditioning coach and get him to recommend somebody based on the individual person, who to go to. But that's not where most of my people are. And so it really comes back to having that desire to want to clearly define what it is that you want and why, and then that will keep you going. And then it's the nutrition. The training, honestly, is the easy part. It's the food, it's the mindset, because that's constant. It's every single day. Now, most people don't want to achieve that six-pack look, because it's hard. It requires a lot of consistency. I watched a video the other day where some guy is running on a treadmill, and he's got a six-pack, and he doesn't look natural, if I'm honest. And he's saying, the reason you get this six-pack is cardio, and because he's running on the treadmill. It's like, I would say 80 to 90% of your six-pack comes down to your food. and then your mindset as well. So we've got to get those things right. So they're the things that I see where people really, really fall down, because they allow life to get in the way. And look, honestly, it's probably shifting your mindset. Most people think, say, family, work, health, maybe there's something else in there, spirituality, relaxation, whatever you want to call it, and then health down the bottom. You need to put it at the top. Once you start to do that, and you realize that it needs to remain there for the rest of your life, which I realized that needed to happen 36 years ago, then that's why I live the life that I do now. Most people don't want to do it until it's later. They say, oh, maybe I should focus on it now. You need to do it now. And when you do that, that's when you start to shift all these other things. You'll do the training, you'll eat the food, you'll stay connected with why it is that you do it. You'll remain pain-free. You'll enjoy life. You'll get more energy. You'll get more outcomes. You'll be more focused. And that's what I find super, super exciting. Okay. I heard you say you like movies. What do you like to watch? Because I have such a busy lifestyle with the clients that I coach and the number of sessions I do a week, and just how focused I am in working on my own mindset and keeping on working in between client sessions and driving marketing, driving more content and all that kind of stuff. I do like to watch a movie. So I watch a range of different things, really. Look, I do love a good action movie, an Arnie movie or a Sly movie, never goes astray. I am a bit of a James Bond fan as well. Look, I haven't been a huge fan of Daniel Craig's versions of them, to be honest, but I do like James Bond. I love a good court case movie. One that is, I used to love the old Perry Mason movies. I think they used to run for like an hour or something like that. I know they were a series, but I love a movie that keeps you guessing all the way to the end, and then the end's got like a twist or something. It's like, oh man, I didn't see that coming, or something like that. And I don't mind the odd romantic comedy either. It really just depends. But I now schedule time every night I'll just play a movie. I very rarely sit and, like glued to the TV and watch a movie. I can't do that. It's normally going in the background while I'm planning out my next day or something like that, but I find it really relaxes me. So yeah, a wide spectrum of movies. Oh, actually, I'll tell you about this. So when I was studying at uni, so this is the years 1986, 87, 88, I graduated in 89. I loved the movie Top Gun. Now, it was at a time when I think we had Top Gun on video cassettes. That's how old it was. I think it came out in 86. And I would watch it every single night. I'd watch portions of it every single night. I would have seen it over 100 times, and I could quote just about every scene as it's playing. I know what the dialogue is. So when the new one came out, it's the only movie I've ever seen twice at the cinemas. Loved it. I have it and on Apple TV, and I do watch that from time to time, again and again and again, depending on the movie. I'll tell you, there's a favourite scene that I have in it. If you've seen it, you'll know what it is. Now, it's where he gets kicked out, of the Top Gun. Spoiler alert, I should say, if you haven't seen it. But he gets kicked out, and then they're all sitting in the, like the room, and there's the scene where he goes onto the range, and he's not supposed to be on the range. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. That is probably one of the most inspirational parts of the movie. I love that. And also the bit where they actually go into they do it for real. So I get inspired by those types of things. I like those. Okay, last question. You recently did a post about protein timing, which I did this week. Can you explain a little bit more about this? Yeah, so one of the challenges with food is when you're doing your strength training, and this is where a lot of people do it wrong. Like, they'll go into the gym and you work out at an intensity that perhaps you're used to. Now, most people do not push themselves in the gym. And so let's just say they do push themselves in the gym. I just know that they then don't match that with great nutrition outside of the gym. So there's a lot of science behind giving yourself protein immediately before the workout, immediately after the workout, which is fast fast response. So that's like a 100% whey protein, for instance, mixed. I use it mixed with a little bit of like Gatorade, Powerade, Staminate, something like that. It's got your fast acting carbs in there. That works really, really well. And then what I do within an hour, well, as soon as I've had that protein drink, so it's probably, depends on my tummy, but maybe 15 minutes later, I will have a hard meal, meaning that like today, so after today's workout, I had my chicken. For me, about 140 grams of chicken. I had vegetables, about 2 cups of stir-fried vegetables, and I had half a cup of brown rice as well. So I've got my rebuilding the glycogen stores through the high energy carbs, being the rice, the vegetables as well, good for the metabolism and digestive and well balanced. I got my good fats in there, which for this meal I had fish oil, and then I had the chicken in there as well. And so then about an hour and a half after that, which I will have straight after this, I'll normally have a smoothie, which for me, that'll be a cup of frozen mango, about a cup of water, about 40 grams of protein in my whey protein in there, and I'll put some flax meal in there as well, so it's got everything in there I need. I have some high energy stuff, so I'll put half a cup of muesli, natural muesli in there as well, and that's what I'll have. It's super important, because if you do the workout and then you don't feed the muscles, right, your body doesn't produce protein. You're only going to get it from what you feed it. So you need to be consistent with feeding yourself protein throughout the day, which is why I'm not a massive fan of like massive gaps. So with your intermittent fasting, and massive gaps between you consuming your protein, because we do need it kind of every 2 to 3 hours, up to a point once we've fed our body enough for the day. And we can only absorb so much in one meal. So I'm smaller, so I can't absorb as much as say a bigger guy. So I've got to break mine down in a little bit more. And yeah, depending on my training, I might knock the protein down a bit. So normally I have 40 grams per meal. Sometimes I might break it down back to 30. And then as my training gets heavier, I'll take it up to 40, maybe sometimes 45. If I'm, say, training, close to the last couple of weeks or whatever towards a photo shoot or something, then I might take it up to 50 for a period of time as well. So it's really, really important. So you don't want to put all the hard work into the gym and then not follow it through with the right amount of protein. So there's a science to it. And this is why I give people the free consultation to work out, so what are you doing at the moment? What do you want to get to? What are the gaps? So I'll talk about a client that I just started working with this week, actually. And she came into me, and she's actually not that far away from where she wants to, but she doesn't know why she can't shift. Say the last 5 kilos of fat that she wants to get off her body. And I said, well, you're not that far away, but you're not consuming enough protein, you're not consuming enough plant-based food, and she's not consuming really any high energy carbs. And I said, you need to get those in, but at certain times and certain volumes, because I guess there's a bit of a culture of saying that, well, carbs are bad. Well, they're not bad. We need them, they're essential, but most people tend to overdo them too frequently, not get the timing right. So if we can tighten up on that, then that's going to dramatically shift what it is that you're doing. But if you don't know what you don't know, so that's kind of it. So they're all the questions for today. That's my 5 done. I did not get them done in 10 minutes. I love to talk. All right, stay safe, everybody. Stay cool today. It's a hot one. It's already 33 degrees at midday. All right, see you next time.